So we're back. Sorry for the hiccup, but that's just how live streaming is, I guess. So let's do this. Lajos?
Yeah, it seemed like I'm ready, but the thing is like my laptop battery is playing really bad jokes with me.
Okay.
It was charging back again to 5%, and 10 seconds ago it went back to 1% again. I'm not sure what's happening here.
Okay.
So maybe it will break down again. Let's hope it does not. Okay. So where were we? Okay, we wanted to use one chart, and I was pretending I don't know how to use it. So I was going to the documentation, and I have seen that only thing I have to do is create a values.yaml, and the two required properties are the image repository, the image tag. So I can just copy this one, and yeah, let's create a values YAML.
I think actually you can do it without any values. You will get a functioning output. Just a comment.
Oh, you mean first I should start with the Nginx one?
You can go your
we can start with the Nginx one. Okay, so just helm upgrade. If it's not existing, then install. Let's call it demo and one chart / one chart.
So even this one should get you something on the cluster.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm just creating a new namespace that we can see that it's not mixed up. So
okay,
let's just create a namespace called demo. Let's use it. Okay, and now I can repeat the installation, and it's not here yet. Okay, so now I can see what's here. And yeah, I can see that there's a deployment, a service, and yeah, that's it. It's scaled 1-to-1. So right now, if I want to see it, should I do a port forward? Or
sure. Whatever fits your workflow.
So this was that one. Okay, so same cluster. And now what I can do is just select the services. And now I can see that this is the demo service. So do a kubectl port forward. Oops. Again. And service / demo. And I need the port 80. And I'm always mixing it up if it's this direction or the other.
Everybody does, I think.
80. Okay, awesome. So it means I should be able to open it up. Let's check that one. And okay, I can see it's the nice usual Nginx application. So maybe the first step is let's change the image from Nginx to something else, right?
Yep.
Okay, so usually I have a 12-factor type image which I have created, and yeah, let's just check what it does. Actually, it's also Nginx. I just made it possible that with configuration, with environment variables, you can configure what's showing up in the default index HTML, but otherwise it's just Nginx as well. So if I want to do that, now I need the values YAML, right?
Yes, or you can use the -- set. I'm not sure what you prefer. I prefer values YAML, to be honest.
Yeah, so let's do values YAML because then I can commit it into a version control.
Nice.
and not rely on my endless bash history, which is actually, yeah, I should save it as well. So values.yaml, and I was thinking I copy pasted, but let's do it again. So the image I would like to use is on Docker Hub, and it's called 12 factor, yeah, and tag is latest. Okay, so let's just use that one. So I will use the same upgrade command, and I will say values is coming from values YAML. And let's see what changes. So the old one is will be scaled down. The new one is pending, so the cluster is probably pulling my image. And actually, the nice thing is that the service did not change at all, so I should be able to use the same port forwarding. So if the new one it's still pending. Okay, so that's the live demo. So let's just describe it.
Once I made a speedrun demo, like pulling all the infrastructure components from Docker Hub, and actually it was consuming all my bandwidth, so my video stream just died completely. So
okay, so look at this one. Anti-affinity rules. I think that's a new feature of one chart, and maybe it's breaking the scheduler.
It is. So that's definitely worth an issue at one chart. However, I also have a flag for you to put into your values YAML.
Okay.
So if you go to the documentation site, there is a high availability section.
And I can switch it off.
Yes. So by default, sets the 2, and you can just turn it off. And obviously, if you have a single node and you want to redeploy on that single node, this anti-affinity rule will just not allow you.
Okay. So which one should I use?
The bottom, spread across nodes.
Oh, okay. So that one.
Yeah. And if you redeploy, I think this should succeed. So good that you described the pod.
Okay, so it's upgrading it. Let's check what's happening in the cluster. And it's pending. And let's just describe it. Is it the new one?
23 seconds. So
23 seconds. So this is the latest one. So it's still the affinity rules. What do you think? Did I?
No, I think you did the right thing. It's probably a bug. So we can perhaps define the version of the chart prior to this bug.
Okay.
Perhaps.
So let's use version. Do you know which version?
I don't know by heart, but we can look it up, I think, together as well. So looking at the commits here. So there was an HA, which was released 7 days ago in 0.15.1. So I think maybe
let's use 0.51. I think that one should work.
Try 0.15.0.
0.15.0. Okay.
And, let's see if we dodged this bullet.
Okay.
That's 119 seconds. So
you know what? Maybe I just completely recreate it, because it seems like it's stuck into the pending. You know what? Maybe I think what happened is that it didn't really roll out a new version because the previous one stuck.
Yes,
so we don't even need the version. We just have to remove it. So just let's do a helm.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, so I just remove it.
Yes.
Remove the release.
Yes.
Remove. Uninstall. Yeah. I always mix up like delete, remove, uninstall. I always have to look it up. But fortunately, shell auto-completion is
Yes.
for the win. So uninstall demo.
Yep. Yeah. This is going to be our update approach for this stream then.
And then I can use the use YAML without checking the version. And now if we check for the pods,
good stuff.
It should be all good. Although right now I have recreated the service, so I guess
that's broken.
The port forward should be restarted, and let's check what do we see here. And this is the image I wanted to see. And now, as you can see, it's a 12-factor application, and you can use some environment variables to change what's written here. So this one is the title environment variable effect. The background color is the color, and you can even change what's here. So let's just do the second step, and I want to set environment variables. And again, let's pretend that I have no idea how to use it. Okay. Environment variables in the documentation. And it's telling I just need a wars section. That's easy. So I'm just adding a wars section. And let's just check back again. What are the environment variables? I don't like to write more string than it's a two-letter string because I will mistype it. So I will just copy and paste. So let's say I want to have the title to welcome to office hours. Yeah, I keep it mistyled. And color, let's use cyan.
Oh, nice.
That should be obvious that we use that one. Okay, so all we have to do is do an upgrade.
I think we will hit the same issue with the anti-affinity rule.
No, it's already there. So
okay.
It will be fine.
So you think that the feature works? It's just that the Helm release procedure.
It was stuck.
So I really hope it's yeah. Okay.
Refresh.
Let's look at the pods.
The old one is terminating.
It was still 1/1, so maybe it was getting traffic.
Yeah. So now, I can get the endpoint. Oops. And it's probably...
It says that the port forward broke.
Oh, you're right.
I'm not sure why. Good.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So we were able to change it. Okay, so what else should we showcase? You know what? Exactly as you said, I really don't like this port forwarding. So why don't we use some real domain names?
Because it's localhost.
No, it's running in the cloud. It's running on Google.
Okay.
And I have already set up a star domain name pointing to this instance. So I should be able to create an ingress. So let's pretend again I don't know how to do it. So look up in the documentation, domain names, that's it. And it's telling that I need ingress and host. Let's do that. So I'm going to the values, adding the ingress section, and there was documentation host. Okay, so I think the domain I'm using here is the K3Z, and tell me a domain name you would like to use.
2 letters, office hours, OH.
OH, okay, all right. So let's go back, do an upgrade. Now, if we are lucky, I would like to see a new ingress created. Aha!
Mm-hmm.
And now this is the issue I have already seen, and
Yeah.
now we need to use the previous version.
No, it is fixed. So if you just
Yeah,
maybe I have not released it. I
maybe.
definitely pushed to Git, and I haven't released it. Okay.
Okay, so I'm just using the that version. Okay, so let's see if we got any ingress. Oh, we did. Now the last thing is that let's check if it's really shows up in my browser. And this was a different browser, but
Yes. Good job.
that's
Kubernetes
really
works.
nice. Because yeah, actually, let me tell you that with the ingress, I'm especially happy that it helps me to do, because for deployment, for services, I can use imperative commands to create them, or I can use something like kubectl run with dry run YAML output, and I have a nice output. But actually with ingress, my problem is that I really have to look up the documentation or search on Stack Overflow.
So you don't have any imperative kubectl commands to do that,
Yeah,
right?
you cannot create an ingress. Maybe you can do something like kubectl explain and then try to find the correct properties. But creating an ingress is always a hassle.
But do you teach these kubectl run and other commands at your trainings?
Usually we use the bare bone basics, so we do use kubectl. Although I know that the saying is that if you are using kubectl, then you already failed because you don't have processes, which is true. But if you want to do troubleshoot, then you cannot rely on the CI/CD pipeline will do the troubleshooting. So you better start by learning kubectl. And of course, after that, you are using something like K9s or something which helps you to do all the manual labor. But creating a new ingress YAML file from scratch, it's not easy.
Okay, cool. So what next? Maybe a feature that is not part of one chart. So we could, you haven't, you don't have your private fork yet, do you?
No.
So is there a feature that you want to have maybe, or you have?
Yeah, what I was thinking about is that maybe if we don't have ingress properly set up and I don't want to do port forwarding, then my last resort is do a service with node port.
Okay.
And I haven't seen any possibility to do that.
No, there is no such feature.
Because I think the service is just fixed for cluster IP type.
Yeah.
So how about changing the service type to be able to do it as a node port?
Let's do it. I think that feature could be part of one chart because, when you just get started, you experiment. I think node port could be a good debug option. I wouldn't use it, for anything real, but for debugging, sure. So it could land in one chart, but maybe for the sake of this demo, maybe it should be in your private fork, and then let's see how to work with a private fork.
Mm-hmm. So should I start by forking the Git repository?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so is there a link somewhere? Oops, yeah, here in the bottom.
There's actually one which is a direct link, but you can go from here as well. I have to work on my UX.
Okay, so I don't. Okay, I will not do it then. It on the screen. So
I will remove your screen for a moment until you just type it. Is that
no,
fine?
I do it from the command line, and then I don't have to type. So let's just clone the repository.
Okay.
When I go inside, I can do hub fork because it's already authenticated. Okay, so it's already forked.
Awesome.
Let's see. Actually, now I can just change Gimlet IO to my GitHub username, and here is my fork.
Cool.
Okay, so now let's go into code, and what I need is go into the charts. It was one chart, and I want to see the template for the service. Okay, so here's the service, and yes, type is hard-coded. So should I pull it out as a configuration value?
I think so, yeah. So because of course you can bake into anything to your private chart, but so let's make this this demo, part of like a use case when there are more developers or like a company or
Okay, so let's just call it like service type.
Yeah, this is your fork. You can call it whatever.
Okay, so it is service type. I save it.
There is a typo, Sir E.
Oh, for sure. Thanks. Okay, so now what I have to do is go to the values and set the service type to node port. Okay, and now because I'm inside of that directory, I go back one further. And now if I want to use the same release, I never did that using the same release with a different repository, but let's just try. So I would like to use the same upgrade command, and instead of using one chart / one chart, I'm just using the directory one chart. Let's see.
So the directory one chart is not the chart path.
You're right. Yeah.
No, I hit this a few times before.
Chart / one chart. Exactly.
Correct.
You're right. Okay.
I think.
Yep. Let me check the service. Node port.
Yes.
Nice. So now what I can do is check whether it's working really on the UI. So I can just open up HTTP. I can use whatever. So let's node1 kubernetes.eu, and port is whatsoever. And maybe I can just try here to use the port. Still works.
It works. Nice.
So we added a new feature.
So by default, Google Kubernetes engine has node ports open like this.
Sorry, what was your question?
That you're running on Google Cloud. You said that. Is it the managed Kubernetes or not?
No, it's not a managed. It's just a single node, and actually I'm running K3S on it because it's really quick to start up. And yeah, I opened up the high ports, everything above 30,000. So that's why it's available. Yeah, I have to open up the firewall.
Okay, yeah, cool. Now, when I'm developing one chart and when I'm working with my private forks, I usually make tests for the chart.
Okay.
The coverage is not so good as we have seen, but have you seen that there's a unit testing library there and how that works? Just for for curiosity or just as an interesting
Yeah,
thing.
I can see the tests, and let me see if there is a test for the services already. Deployment. Yeah,
No.
I don't see anything for, but let's just check the deployment image test.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so there are two tests here.
Yep.
One is using two values YAML and
Correct.
checking if the path spec template image is the correct one.
Yep.
So I never wrote any Helm chart test yet. So please help me. So when you hear tell these templates should be used, why is it necessary?
I have no idea. That's the framework's thing. Maybe because below the path is not really namespaced. Maybe that's why you can't include everything. So in this case, we would use the service.yaml and then change the path and the value.
And how do you know that this spec should be looked up in the deployment YAML?
I actually don't know how it comes together. I just use the examples and it works as long as you reference the right manifest file or template file.
So maybe these files are looked for this specification.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you want to create a test suite?
We could try. The problem is actually that Helm unit testing is not a Helm native concept. So the unit test is a plugin which has
I see.
Which was stopped to be maintained like 2 years ago, and there were like 100 forks, and I use the fork from Datadog where the installation script actually is broken, but the thing works quite well, and I have it in CI. So if we want to go through the hassle of installing the plugin, we can do it. No. Then it's just maybe if you go to the one chart repo and look for the test output, so the community knows that there are tests and potentially you can have your own tests. So if you go back to the upstream.
Oh yeah, sure.
And there is the actions, or no, there is the tick mark next to the commit, which says, right there.
Oh, okay.
And then I think the build step is where you will see the output and the test. And you can also see the dependencies step, which has the magic how to make this.
Although it doesn't show me the details, probably because I'm not sign in for full log view.
Okay.
Right now. Maybe if I'm switching to the other browser where I logged in, I can see it. And I can open it up and I can see all the chart tests. Okay, that's a nice one.
Yeah. So I actually don't know how other people do their tests. It feels like really on the fringes of the Helm practices, because there is no unit testing framework, or at least I didn't find anything which is like a core.
Yeah, it's important, or would be important to keep it. So maybe how about using the UI and not trying to read the documentation and figure out all the stuff?
Yes, let's do that. Did you show that to your students? Like there is a UI for one chart or any help chart?
No, not yet.
Okay. So do you know how to do it, or should I help you get there?
All I know is that let's just move my values YAML away. So let's just move it to backup. And now I think I need the Gimlet UI or the Gimlet CLI, right?
Correct.
I think, yeah, I did already installed it, but I think if I would like to look it up in the documentation, I think it's like, yeah, a curl and moving the file into the path. And
Yes.
that's what I did. So I was just copy pasting this one. So now I have the Gimlet.
Could you repeat that so that you have the latest version?
Sure.
And I actually don't know if my version tag is updated there. It says 03. That's totally outdated. But you were kind enough to contribute a tip release. So maybe we can get the tip release or the V050.
Let me check which version I have. Is it the one we should use?
No, 050.
050.
So if you repeat this.
Oh, okay, I can see. 05, right? Oops. Okay, now I have the latest one.
Okay.
So Gimlet has some subcommands. Manage ham charts, GitOps manifest. So that's probably the manifest, right?
No.
Oh,
It's good try. Of course, manifest work with Helm charts, but I think the straight approach to the UI is the Gimlet chart.
Gimlet chart.
And it is a subcommand.
Gimlet chart and configure. Okay.
Yep.
I still need some. Oops. Okay, so I have to say if I want to edit an existing file. No, I don't need that one. Output should be values YAML. And what else?
There is an argument besides the options. That's the
oh yeah, I
chart
can
name.
see. And one chart slash one chart. Okay, so now there's a UI opened up here. Nice. So I don't have to read documentation and I can do the same stuff here. So image. Oh, and actually it's bringing me to the page where is the most important stuff is here, image. So let's just use Lajos/12 factor. This is called latest. Port 80 is okay. Now I can check resources, that's fine. Environment variable. So I can just, let's check if I can do, oops. Title. Let's do something like Gimlet for the win. And with a color, I was checking some nice color. Let's maybe use hot pink.
Hot pink, very nice. Better than the cyan.
So hot pink. Okay, what else? Oh, we can use hostname as well. And it was k3z.eu. And it was office hours and pink.
Yes.
That's already 3 letters, so I
please double check it.
That's sort of risky, but that's all. And it was in high availability that I don't have to look up the code. I can just switch off.
Don't spread it. Yes.
I don't have to think about whether Boolean, true, put it into quotation.
Yes.
That's nice.
Actually, I think it would be better if the field name should also be part of this UI, so could
Okay.
serve as a
Yeah.
reference.
Sure thing. So only thing I have to do is close the browser. Okay, let's do that one. So it was writing to the screen as well, but let's check the values YAML. Oh, it was just writing to the screen.
Really?
Did I?
Because it's that's it. That is interesting. So something to check for me.
Anyway, I can put it myself into the values.yaml. And do an upgrade again using the values. Oh, now I'm using, I shouldn't use the, oops, the official one.
So
and
it's
this is the version again.
That too, but I think the cluster IP will be a problem because your service is already created and you cannot really change from node port to cluster IP and go back and forth. That's
let's see that one. Exactly what you said. So let's just remove. But remove, what was it? Uninstall. Uninstall. I think maybe I do remember that maybe the upgrade has something like force or recreate or something like that. Because
probably has, yes.
Because this upgrade, you know what? Let me check.
Force through a replacement strategy.
Yeah. So okay, next time we can use that one.
Okay.
Just do the force. I put it here. So always do it in the force mode.
Yes.
Nothing can go wrong. So let me check the ingress and the hot pink. Let's open up. And different browser. Wow.
And it is the hottest pink. Very nice.
So what we were able to do, don't read the documentation, still use Helm, and use all the nice feature, even create an ingress, environment variables, custom image, and so on. I should say I really like it.
Good. And I can top that with have custom features. Don't still use Helm. Don't read the documentation, and repeat the same thing with your new variable.
Oh, so what you are telling me is that when I was opening up this Gimlet UI, which was this one, and which I bring here again. So what you are telling me is that I can add here something new?
That should be the short conclusion of this demo, yes.
Wow.
And I'd like to show you the way to do it if you are up for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So this one is using the public one chart. So we either point it to our forked one chart, or we use some developer feedback kind of tools. It has two flags which can source basically an updated schema, an updated Helm schema, and an updated UI schema.
So what you are telling is that all this stuff here is written in a schema?
Yes. So there are two things actually. This is actually possible with Helm 3's feature, which is you can validate lint against a JSON or YAML schema. And charts started to do that. It's not too common, but if your chart or like one chart, if the chart has a schema, which is like, you know, a very good thing to have, then you can generate a UI out of that schema.
Oh, so if I'm checking the one chart
Yep.
of my fork, so where should it be?
So it's right in your chart. So charts, one chart slash
one chart.
Use if you close the tests and if you close the other one, the templates folder, and you can see there is the chart metadata. There is also default values file.
Schema.
Yes.
So this is it.
Yes. Yes.
Ah, okay.
Now this is where things get ugly because it's a JSON schema, and editing a JSON schema is not, you know, like a cakewalk, but it is standard. There are tools, and you can get by copy pasting, which I've been doing.
Okay.
So maybe if you close your the JSON schema has all the things unfolded. If you fold all the things in this view,
okay.
I don't know how you can do it, but you can do it one by one. Yeah, so it's so yeah, this is how it looks: ID, title, description, blah blah blah, properties.
Examples, properties.
And if you close these ones, like the image, and then the replicas, pod distribution, budgets, bedrock nodes, blah blah blah, all the fields actually have a schema entry here. So your field can be added here and can be shown in the UI.
So let me see. So these seems like groups.
Correct.
And where do I see the groups? Or
so
it's somewhere deeper.
Yes. No. So the JSON schema, it describes accurately what the chart is, but it doesn't support higher level UI concepts like groups, like if you want to override some widget, like how it should be rendered, or you don't want to render everything, only just a subset of the fields. I introduced a new file format, which is actually something new that I try to spread in the world. I that's the file. I let the Helm developers know. They are generally very interested. However, it hasn't, you know, been pushed into anything more standard than that.
Oh, you know what? I just realized that this is something like AWS introduced with, how do they call it? The automation when you can create cloud formation.
Okay.
And with cloud formation, they do pretty much the same like we do with Helm in the Kubernetes world. And they also started to call it like metadata. And they did the grouping and hints and type and everything like as metadata. So it's pretty much the same concept. Okay.
I'm very happy that others are doing this as well. So basically, with this file format and the schema, the UI could work for any chart if people do the work of the schema and the Helm UI. So yeah, just poke around.
Okay, so let's maybe try to do a property. Image is okay. Let's try to copy that one.
Image is a hierarchical one, so maybe try finding something which is a string at the root.
Okay, yeah, I see. So maybe the host name.
That is also under ingress. Yeah.
Oh, high availability. That
yes.
was
So that's a Boolean flag. You can steal that and make it string.
Okay, you know what? Then I can do something like enable node port, and if I switch it on, then it becomes Okay.
Yes.
Let's do that one. So I just look for the pod disruption.
Okay. It's just with an R disruption. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's here. Oh, okay. That's a small one.
Yeah.
So
I wrote that by hand, so it's not generated by anything.
So let's call it node port enabled.
You know what? I think we can be faster if we just leave it as string, and we just change the type from string to Boolean, the other way around.
Oh, so you mean let's keep it a string?
Yeah, let's keep it a string.
Okay.
And it was called service type. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So title is service type.
Mm-hmm.
Description.
This is actually the real value of,
Choose between master IP or node port. I guess I should be able to give a list of pre-selected values, and then you get a drop down, but it's probably for the next office hours. So
exactly.
Let's keep it simple. Service type, string properties, and yeah, let's give it a different name. And node port enabled.
Correct. And
That's it?
the default shouldn't be true. You can just remove the default.
Okay.
Or remove the field completely. Yeah.
All right.
So now you have the schema, and you can reference this schema in the Helm UI file.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe from the UI first, you can pick a spot. Maybe you want to put it under a group or which already exists, or you want to have like a high-level group.
Maybe create a high-level group.
Let's do that.
So it will be, what are the high-level groups?
If you close again, then you can more easily reason about the structure. So it's yeah. So for example, this is a group that's on your screen. It's the environment variables group.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have to create something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so let's copy and paste the whole secrets.
Yep.
And work on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was node port enabled, right? Properties.
So for the UI schema, I think you don't need to add anything for this because this is more like a special behavior. So if this would be documented properly, it would say that UI schema you only use when you want to do something special, that the default behavior doesn't suit you.
Okay, so but I can still keep it.
Please remove it because I don't know what this will cause.
Okay,
schema ID should stay. UI schema should be an empty object.
Empty object, let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So service type icon, I have no ID, so let's just keep
it.
This one. And
that's it.
That's it.
Yes. Now
I would be really surprised if I didn't do any typos.
All right. Now I am a little bit in doubt whether Gimlet chart configure would work with your directory path. Let's try that. It might not work, but I have a workaround for you in development.
Wow.
Service type right there.
Wow. No ways.
Yes.
I didn't do a typo. That's unbelievable. Okay, so I can copy and paste from here.
Yep.
And
booyah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Wow. So what I can do for my company or for my students is that I'm not only creating a nice Helm chart, but I can also give them a nice UI like this one, and I can guide them through without reading documentation, just switching off and on. Okay,
Yep. Yes.
that's
Yes.
a really useful stuff.
In my private forks, there are just snippets that just used to go around between teams, like, hey, this is how you, I don't know, add some nginx ingress annotations to limit file upload size, or add a special header, or this is how you just opt out from linkerd service mesh. So there were like tens of these, and so I started to actually package this into the shared chart, which covers the company use cases. If somebody wants to mount an Azure bucket, they shouldn't, go in and add the volume mounts, the volumes, and look it up how to actually mount an Azure bucket. So these just go. They used to go around these snippets, and people just copy and paste it. Now I try to tell people that, hey, there is this flag, turn it on and off if you want to. Hey, there is this option to provide Azure volumes. This is how you do it. And the UI, I find that people like the YAML better, but they also need a place to reference, to look up all these flags. So maybe the UI should also be like a reference besides a nice path into the whole thing.
Yeah, and the other thing is, as I already mentioned, that when you are reading the documentation and you see like, oh, there is a value which is enabled, then should I write true with a quotation or without quotation? It's much easier if I can just, or the other thing, like we did not do it right now, but if you have a choice of a fixed number of things, then you cannot mistype, which I all the time do. You can just choose from a list. That's really, really useful.
And if this would catch on in the ecosystem, right now you want to install Redis, PostgreSQL, you go to the GitHub page, there is a huge list of flags, and you kind of know what to expect, but it's a bit of a pain to just find the flags you need, and perhaps it helps this discoverability. That's my thinking.
Okay. I was just thinking like what you mentioned, that a lot of time when you want to install some sort of like infrastructure type Helm charts, then it also happens that sometimes you want to install more than one Helm chart together.
Yep.
Does Gimlet helps you in a way that you can describe somehow dependencies between charts, or maybe you would do it something like, I do remember that even inside of a chart, you can have something like subcharts, right?
Yes. You can do that, and frankly, I have another, like real, like a little trial product called One-Click Infra, where I sort of examined whether I should use like an umbrella chart with subcharts and use Helm completely for that. I just used Go templating and came up with my own format. Maybe it's a nice feature. I just didn't want to learn it. Perhaps that's the truth.
Because, for example, right now, if I want to install, let's say, Prometheus, Grafana, and whatsoever, then I have to read the chart description for one by one. Although, for most of the case, I already have a use case that I want to use Prometheus, Grafana, and Loki together.
Yes.
And I don't want to read all the Helm charts. I just want to click like, I need Loki or not. And then everything should be filled up.
Yes.
Okay.
And just as a peek into the future, so I have One-Click Infra, and I'm going to roll that into the Gimlet CLI. There's going to be Gimlet Infra, and it would serve as like a marketplace that you can take it with you, and somehow this UI capability will also be bundled together, because it's really just a schema of what are your options, what flags you have. So it's a building block for sure.
Okay. I think now the title Office Hours is already correct because it is more than 1 hour.
Yes,
Which
yes.
I just realized by
Yes.
checking the watch. I was expecting that we will do a short half an hour demo, but yeah, it's always you cannot stop like using good stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm really grateful that you joined because there was no precedent of this, anybody doing it before, and also I didn't give away too much about what you can expect. So thanks for being the first one, and your examples, and I saw that sometimes your trainer self revealed itself, and you're trying to make the examples more didactic or to.
Yeah.
To
Failing in a live demo is something I cannot say no to that.
Cool. Thanks for being cool about this. And yeah, I guess we just call it a day and or an hour. And thanks for joining. And yeah, where can we find you on the internet if people want to follow you?
Oh, it's hard.
It's hard. I will just post it into the YouTube video links. It's
Yeah.
Lajos with. Or you can just show it on Twitter on your screen because it's still shared.
My Twitter handle is actually quite stupid. Probably no foreign languager can remember it. Gibbs Jakob. Even I have.
Gibbs Jakob, nice.
Even I have issues with.
It's more than 2 characters.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Thanks for today, Lajos, and yeah, have a great day.
Thank you, and see you in the next office hours.
I would love that. See ya.
Okay, bye.